do is just pop the ball and just try to screw the cue ball back. I'm just going to practice with you.
But when I use the soft, the cue ball has speed. I
When you hit soft,
yes.
so you have
It will roll out speed.
we have to check where you're hitting the cue ball in the middle. I don't want to get away with the camera. If we want to draw the cue ball back, what we need to do when we hit the ball, we actually need to flick our wrist more. This is where we get the action from. It's all in this part of your hand. So when you play the shot, if you're playing the stop shot, we just sort of quite. If we want to draw it, we have to like flick our wrist on impact. So as you hit the cue ball, you're going to like try to flick your wrist to get the action to get the cue ball to screw back. That's not going to be easy, and you're going to have to learn about the timing of when you flick your wrist. And also sometimes you'll get action, sometimes you won't. See, there you see you got a little bit more action because the flick of the wrist was a little bit better. But let's see why we're getting side spin. What happened is that when you cue the shot there, as I'm looking at your cue, the cue, as you follow through, went a little bit like that.
Yeah.
Now, I'm exaggerating it so you understand how, but your cue, as you follow through, it went sort of there a little bit. So that would, so what you do is, even if you're hitting into the middle of the cue ball, or you're still coming into a little bit of an angle, and that's why you get some side spin. See, that's why the cue. But you see how your cue's gone over your hand a little bit. Now that might be because you're hitting the ball hard, hitting with power. A good technique to try to make that. Look, it's going to be difficult for you. But let's say if we follow the cue through. Let's see when we play the shot. Okay, there's just one on the table that's copy.
Yeah.
People bring in copy chalk and then take away our chalk and leave the copy chalk here. So what I'm going to do now, when I play this shot, I'm going to try to concentrate on my cue following through in a straight line, and that's why I put a little dot on the table there. It might not do, but that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm not saying you have to stop exactly there. But it's just a good little sort of exercise for you to try to get your cue to keep going in a straight line. But it's much easier to say than it is to do. I want to try to get
Look at this point. I not shot. focus this point.
Don't focus on it too much. What I want you to do is try to pop the ball and let's see where your cue goes. Cue might go here. So don't focus on that too much. Just focus on potting the ball and pushing the cue through. Your cue doesn't have to reach here. But what I'm saying is that it's a good little sort of target for you. But that shouldn't really be something that you're focusing on. Let's just see where the cue is at the end of the stroke and see where it's in relation to that spot. If it's in the same line as that, that's good. If it's over here or over there, of course it's not good. So just pop the ball. See, that's okay. It's not too bad though. Maybe go a little bit off that. I've just moved the table because now it's right in the line of the shot, and then when you watch the video back, you'll be able to see what your cue is doing.
I want to check this ball have angle or not. I don't know this ball have a little bit angle. Also on the line.
No, I think it's okay.
I think it's right.
I think if you popped here, you aim for here, which is really where you should be aiming. You should be aiming for here. You're straight. Now this time, you did something there that I would suggest that you don't do, but it worked. You elevated the back of your hand a little bit to go down lower into the cue ball. What I prefer you to do is try to just go low with everything. Because we can elevate and hit down into the cue ball to get more draw.
Yes.
But if you think about it, if you actually get your cue level and go through the ball, so as an example, if we go through the ball from here like this, we're going to hit the ball more consistently than if we go a little bit like that and hit down. So it just means you get a more consistent stroke. So you went like this and then you just sort of went like that a little bit and raised this bit up. What I prefer to do is just get low with everything. Get lower with everything because you're hitting through the ball at the right level more than hitting down. Now lots of people to screw back do hit down.
Yeah.
But it's not really the correct technique to do it.
When you shot, the cue touch your chest or not?
Sometimes, yes. That's not flat. No, not really. Look, I can miss too. So first, I tell you what, let's start again. Let's just do some stop shots.
Yeah.
Let's not worry about screw the cue ball back. Let's just do some stop shots.
You know what the music say? Music say, my cue not good, you need to change the cue back. Maybe you play good. I think as a professional player, don't care. A public
Everybody is different. You know, 1 year ago, Mills had a cue tech, and he said, I can't play with this, and he went back to wooden cue.
Yeah.
I can't play with this shit, I want a different cue. He sold the cue tech cue.
Yeah, yesterday.
Went back to a wooden cue, and now he's back using cue tech again. Like, don't listen to him, he's crazy. Just do a stop shot, just stop the light where the ball is. Don't try and screw back, just stop. Just do a stop shot. Again.
Stop it.
Again. like to see what I feel is going wrong here is that your backswing is not long enough. We're sort of going like this, and so we end up forcing the cue through, as opposed to having a nice long stroke, and then you can just push the cue through. Remember last time I said about the golf swing? So just try to bring the cue back, maybe a little bit further, maybe just like a bit longer back. It's only sort of when you bridge it only sort of comes back to maybe here. You can bring it back a little bit further, then you can just push the cue through more easily. Because at the moment, a lot of the time, your stroke is too short. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to gain power by forcing the cue through, as opposed to having a longer backswing and then it's just a natural push through. So this part, the drawback of the cue isn't long enough, so then you're having to force the cue forward, as opposed to going like this, and then it's natural to go there. You're sort of going like this and then trying to go like that. So you're trying to increase your speed on your follow through, as opposed to being able to just push it through because you have a longer backswing. Now it looks to me also like your hand is a little bit nearer to the cue ball than before. Remember last time I said I felt your bridge hand was too far away?
Yeah.
So it's definitely a little bit nearer.
Yeah.
But not every shot. Sometimes it's still a bit too far away. But it's better than it was. What I'd like to try to do as well, I'd love to, and I did this with Ming as well, I feel that when you're getting ready to play your shot, try to have a little bit more rhythm with your cue. Try to keep your cue, you don't have to keep it moving, but at the moment, it's quite sort of stop-start sort of thing. You know, you don't have any sort of rhythm to your stroke. So that also will make it more difficult for you to be up. Whereas with me, when I'm playing a shot, my cue's sort of always moving. I'm not asking, you don't have to move it very, very fast or anything, nice and easy tempo, but I'm moving my cue. I'm literally warming up for my shot. I'm preparing to hit the ball. And then when I hit the ball, it's just a continuation of what I've sort of done in preparation to hit it. Whereas with you a little bit, it's quite sort of stop-start, so it's quite sort of, you know, your cue's sort of, it's not sort of continually moving, it's more like, you know, and there's no rhythm to that, so you can't just continue to continue with your stroke and carry on. So that's why I feel that you might not get any sort of consistency. But this is not going to be easy for you, because when I first started teaching Ming, he just had his cue like this.
Yeah.
And I said to him, look, let's try to get your cue moving.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, well, if I do this, I feel like I'm eliminating sort of errors and things. I said, well, when I'm cueing up, what I'm doing, I'm looking at my cue now, and I'm seeing if I'm cueing in a straight line. And if I'm not, I can make an adjustment. If your cue's not moving,
Yeah.
you don't really know what's. Now yours does move,
Yeah.
but I'd like to see a little bit more rhythm to it, so a bit more more consistency, as opposed to stop, start, stop, start. I don't mind that people when they play they have a pause before they hit the ball. That's no problem. But just try to create a little bit more consistency with your stroke and try to just maybe. It's not going to be easy for you to do that because you don't do that now.
No, yes, I know. But last time I tell you, I think if this ball, I 100% can shoot in this pocket. But if I move one arm, maybe 10% down, 10% down.
You mean if you move what you mean if you move the cue?
Yeah, when I move one arm, I think maybe I miss this ball. I'm disputing. That's why I scared.
What you should do is when you're moving the cue, you should be looking at the cue to see if it's in line, so that you can, and so you can sort of continue on that line to pot it.
Because this calendar, I have feeling my cue is seem like this move a little bit. That's why I'm scared.
I think it does a little bit, but I don't think it's a lot. So you have to get these little sort of, try to get these little negative thoughts out of your head. You say if you don't move your cue, you feel like you're going to pot it. Well, let's try to be more positive about it and actually, oh yeah, I'm going to move my cue because I'm just warming up for my shot, and then I'm just going to continue on that warm up to hit the ball to pot it. These things, when I'm trying to change things within your stroke, are going to be very difficult to do. Very difficult to do. And especially if I'm sort of getting you to do things which already in your head you think is going to make it worse for you, that's going to be really hard to do. Really hard.
I think, you see, if I move here,
Move
maybe
there.
why can.
Yeah, I think.
But
No, but the thing is, this
far a
is.
little bit.